Friends, have you ever touched something that, at first glance, stirs an odd restlessness in your heart? Something that appears innocent on the outside but harbors an evil spirit within. This is the story of Wilson, a 13-year-old boy whose life was forever changed by a doll purchased from an old Haveli. Get ready, because this doll wasn't made for play. It came to bring destruction. Join us on this terrifying journey, where every step hides danger and every silence conceals an evil smile. Wilson was a 13-year-old, simple boy who lived with his mother and father in a small house in his quiet Basti neighborhood. Near his Basti stood an old Haveli mansion that had been abandoned for years. People said that something strange resided there, but Wilson considered these tales mere rumors. One day, his mother, Ayla, told him about a second-hand sale taking place in the Haveli, where old items were being sold at cheap prices. Being fond of new toys, Wilson happily accompanied his mother. The atmosphere inside the Haveli was cold and filled with silence. Old furniture, broken Jaroka windows, and the blackish stains on the walls gave everything an eerie feel. During the sale, Wilson's eyes fell upon a doll, a Labubu doll. This doll had an odd allure that stirred something strange in his heart. Its blue eyes sparkled like glass, and its face bore a wide smile that seemed to touch the soul. The doll had golden fur and cute, rabbit-like ears. Despite being old, it looked almost new. Wilson thought that if he showed this doll to his friends, he would become the hero of the colony. After much persistence, Ayla reluctantly bought the doll. Upon reaching home, Wilson placed it on the shelf in his room and began his homework. But every time his gaze fell on the doll, it felt as though it was calling him. Its eyes glimmered strangely, and its smile hinted at some mischief. Thinking it might be his imagination, Wilson approached the doll, picked it up, played with it for a while, and then placed it back on the shelf. The moment he sat back at his desk, a heavy metal vase, which had been on the top shelf, fell exactly where he had been standing. Had he delayed by a second, the vase might have struck his head and possibly cracked his skull. Shaken, Wilson quietly picked up the pieces to avoid his mother's scolding and went downstairs. Over the next few days, bizarre incidents began occurring in the house. Glass windows would shatter on their own, light bulbs would burst, and strange whispering sounds would emerge from Wilson's room. Wilson noticed that these incidents intensified whenever he played with the doll. The most terrifying aspect was the doll's smile. It grew wider day by day, as if it were hiding a secret. Wilson shared this with his father, Asif. Asif dismissed it as a child's imagination, but to comfort Wilson, took the doll and promised to throw it in the dumpster the next day. That night, while Wilson was asleep, a loud bang jolted him awake. He heard his father scream. Opening his eyes, he saw the Labubu doll lying right next to his face on the bed, its eyes staring at him. In a panic, Wilson threw it down and fled the room. Outside, he found his father fallen down the stairs with serious injuries. Ayla rushed him to the hospital, leaving Wilson alone at home. Scared, Wilson sat in the drawing room and eventually fell asleep. When he woke up the next morning, the doll was sitting on the sofa beside him, wearing the same smile. Upon seeing this, Ayla angrily threw the doll into the outdoor dumpster. Wilson thought everything might finally be resolved. But that night, while watching TV in the drawing room, an old rocking chair began to creak and rock on its own. Looking closely, Wilson saw the same doll sitting in it. As their eyes met, the doll's eyes shifted slightly, locking onto his gaze. Wilson's heart began to pound. The next morning, Wilson returned to the Haveli, where the doll had been bought. There, he met an old chowkidar, guard, who revealed that this was no ordinary toy. The Haveli's previous owners had ordered it from a Chinese shop. Since the doll arrived, chaos ensued. Family members fell ill, financial troubles arose, and they began fighting among themselves. Eventually, they sold the Haveli and put the doll up for sale. The chowkidar added that whenever the doll was in the house, strange laughing sounds echoed at night. Terrified, Wilson realized he needed to get rid of it. He took the doll to his school playground and threw it away. His friend Chris picked it up and started mocking Wilson. Suddenly, a baseball flew fast and struck Chris's head. He fell, and a sharp nail on the ground pierced his skull, killing him instantly. Everyone assumed it was an accident, but Wilson knew the doll harbored an evil force. That same day, Wilson tore the doll apart and burned the pieces. However, that night, when he entered his room, the doll was there, intact, and a chilling laugh emanated from it, as if mocking him. Bite marks appeared on Wilson's body, as though someone had clawed at him. Frightened, Wilson told his parents everything. They called a pandit, priest, who upon seeing the doll, declared it the dwelling of an evil spirit. The pandit performed a ritual, sealed the doll in an iron box, and buried it near the Haveli. Wilson and his parents breathed a sigh of relief. But the next morning, news arrived that the pandit had died in a road accident. Shocked, Wilson and his parents left the city forever. Even today, Wilson is haunted by nightmares of the doll, wondering, has it truly gone? Or is it still waiting for him somewhere? So friends, this was the story of Wilson and his terrifying doll. A doll that looked innocent, but hid an evil secret in its smile. Was this doll truly cursed? Or did Wilson's heart and mind play tricks on him? Does the silence of that Haveli still conceal the doll's spirit? If you have a similar story, or feel that this doll might still be out there somewhere, let us know in the comments. And yes, if you enjoyed this heart-pounding tale, subscribe for more chilling stories and share it with your friends. Turn off your TV in the silence of the night and think, could there be a doll staring at you from your own home? Good night, and stay cautious.